Aquaba. What's going on, y'all, man? Today we're just gonna have a quick video, just a recap about what we was going through, the emotions and everything else about the video game and how it helps the relationship and what we learned from it, man. So without further ado,
would be is when you told me to start over and we go downstairs, what do you think was my mindset at that point that we have to go all the way downstairs?
I know you didn't want to go. First of all, yeah. Who want to go back downstairs? Of course not. But if we don't, the more we wait, the more we can't move on to the next level. So what y'all gonna do? Either you go downstairs or you stay right there till all night long.
Okay, and how do you feel like playing the video games with me has helped our relationship, or what do you think some things maybe you noticed about me? Because it was times where I was into the game, really into it, so I can be really focused on it. So there was the real me you was getting because I'm really focusing. So what do you think like that you learned, about me and about how we can grow or work together as a team? What do you learn?
If you know me, you know that gaming or playing with controller is something I will never do. I was with my husband. I'm like, come on, man. Why game? It's like, that mindset with women, like, my husband plays games too much. I can't. My boyfriend does, man. It's too much. I can't. That was the same mindset I had, at the beginning. But then when we thought about playing the games, I was like, you know what? Let me give it a try and see. So I realized that playing the game with you honestly has helped our relationship a lot. Honestly, it has helped us to know how to come together and solve problems, how to make sure that one person is good before we can move on to the next level. If I can't do it, he can go for it. It's like that's how our relationship is. You need to come together as one to be able to tackle certain issues. So I feel like it has really grown us together. We are sharing the happiness together. We are laughing. When we get frustrated, we are frustrated. It's like it brings all these emotions into what that you would never think about even doing with your significant other. Sometimes when your significant other have a different kind of hobby, just try it out. You never know how it can really help your relationship a lot. It's really good. Sometimes we women, we tend to be in our own wall and stuff like that, but give it a try and trust me, you will not regret it.
Okay, so I know that you mentioned patience, right? Sometimes we say something, but let's be realistic. Some people don't really have patience at all. Not because they are really doing it all purposely, but because they get triggered. You know how it's like you get triggered and they have to react. It's like, so what are you really gonna tell people who don't really have that patience, especially men on the men's side, for anything that has to do with them playing game with your significant other or whatever it is when it comes to your significant other?
I'll be honest with you. To maintain the patience like that, hey, everybody might not want to hear it, but it's dealing with God. It's dealing with, reading the Bible. That helps too, a whole lot. That helps too, because when you think in that situation, you think, okay, if we didn't understand how to go to the same or try to go the same path as Jesus, do you think Jesus would just get mad and be frustrated and pissed off because you're not there yet? No. God is always with you. He's always on your side. He's always willing to help you grow. So if you think like that, you think about your wife, you playing the game and your wife, she ain't that good. And you sitting there, you mad. But you don't expose that type of behavior. You show kindness, you show patience, you teach her how to do it. You show her how to do it. It's the same thing Jesus would do for us. Honestly, I believe he would do that for us. And he won't just be rational and say, well, you know what, forget you don't understand it, you don't want to follow the law, forget it. That's not the type of person he is, not the type of person God is. Even if you read the Bible, it talks about when a lot of the prophets or a lot of the characters, they didn't do everything right, and they always were shameful, but God always would tell them that, he's right there with them, every single time. So if you think like that, it'll really help you, build up your patience level. I'll tell you that.
Agreed.
So playing split fiction, and you did bring up, you can't do it without the other. I just remembered there was a scene where I thought that I can do it without you. And I had to learn that I can't do it without you. So what was the biggest thing that you probably gained from that situation after I said, oh, I'm just going to continue? And I realized I can't continue without you. What do you think I gained from it, and what do you think you understood about it?
I felt like at that point, you definitely probably learn to wait and be patient for your significant other, and at that point, I learned to catch up with you. Sometimes I might not be at your level, but if I listen to what you're saying, if I follow everything you are doing, we'll be able to work together. It comes back to every relationship. When you are ahead of your significant other, you don't have to really force them to be at your level. Sometimes you can be patient. Let them grow up to you. I feel like this is really helping me to grow a lot because I don't know anything about controller. But so far, I can confidently say that I know something because of you, because you really helped me a lot to get there. So patience is the key, and also knowing that, hey, you cannot do it without the other. So you brainstorm together, you see how the other person can also go, and you help each other out. At the end of the day, it will help your relationship really greatly too.
So would you recommend that game to a couple and married people or somebody? Yeah, I said couple. Yeah. Would you recommend that game?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to play a game that is two together, not just one. Do you know why? Cause I feel like it got to one of the scene, if you remember, when you said you can't shoot and you can't drive. It's like I can do both, and we need both to be able to achieve that level and move to the next level. And we had to at that point, it was like, yo, we gotta switch controller. So then I got to his part, I was shooting, and when it got to the part when I was driving actually, and it got to the point where I felt like I was gonna crash. I was like, baby, here you go, let's switch. And once we switched it, and we were able to pass that level. So yeah, you actually have to do it together, because when it comes to these kind of games, it's really good for couples. It helps you guys together. Sometimes I was telling my husband, I was like, that you realize that is so nowadays what we are talking about is always positive, no negativity, because we always waking up, you're like, what can we play? We are excited about this together. So sometimes when you have stuff going on in your life, in your relationship and stuff like that, trust me, all that negative stuff, all that idealness to bring all that stuff in your mind, it will wipe away. It will go, it definitely gonna go away, because the Bible said ideal mind is what Satan always coming to mess up.
Okay, and then just one last thing. So there's games that we're supposed to be playing. So there is L.A. Noire, and that's investigation game. Now, for my question is, investigation game, how do you think that is going to go as far as me and you tag teaming, trying to crack down crime and be able to tell whether somebody's lying or not? How do you think that's going to go? Because now it's going to get even more tests, because now there's going to be whether I believe that somebody's telling the truth and you might believe they're not.
Honestly, I can't wait till we play that game, because I know it's going to be a lot of chaos right there, because I have my way of thinking and my husband does have his way of thinking too, So yeah, we're going to have some bumps heads, but we have to learn to come together to play it at the end of the day. But y'all going to see it. It's gonna be pretty funny and pretty chaotic.
Okay, and what about, there's a game coming up, college football. It's a game that that I play, and you ain't never played it before. And we are going to do dual dynasty. Pretty much, we're going to be same team, picking the same players to better the program of a school that's not really good. How do you think that's going to work? Because you know nothing about football.
I absolutely don't know anything about football, but one thing I'm going to tell you is, watch me. Don't underestimate me. You never know what I can do. I can help your team to win.